I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Kim.
And we're pharmacy students from the University of the Pacific.
As you can notice, we are in our costumes like we promised last time.
Look at our heads.
My baby. I mean, kangaroo. For Halloween, like I said, we drove down to CSHP, but then on our way down we stopped by a carnival. It was in Hollywood.
It was pretty cool. It was kind of like a street fair thing, so they blocked off a bunch of, like several blocks, and it was basically for people to dress up in crazy costumes. There were some pretty fancy ones. I don't really remember all of them. My favorite was one guy who dressed up as Slender Man, and it's on my Facebook because he was on like stilts and he had like super long arms, so that was really cool.
For me, I got kind of scared actually as I was walking because a lot of them were in masks, and I don't know, masks kind of scare me. And then because it was sort of crowded too, so you don't see them coming. I was kind of scared the whole time. But yeah, I kept it to myself. It's kind of embarrassing to be afraid of people who are dressed up.
So I've gone to CSHP for all of the years in pharmacy school, and this was probably my least favorite year just because it was so stressful in terms of making sure I talked to all the residencies I want to, and making a good impression, or at least not making a bad impression because they remember that. So yeah, and now I kind of see how useless it was the past couple of years because you don't really need to go to CSHP when you're first or second year. And even this year, I think they changed it so that first and second years were kind of like screened into the showcase. Like you couldn't go into the showcase if you were first or second year until later. So I thought that was interesting, but I guess that helped the flow of traffic because it was still really busy.
Yeah. So this year was my first year going to CSHP, and I guess because this wasn't my first conference, I went to the APHA conference last year, so they were kind of similar, except I agree with Chrissy, this conference was a little more stressful just because I felt a big responsibility or burden to talk to all the residency programs. I think it's really overwhelming. It's like information overload, like for real. Like yeah. Even though I was prepared to like be overwhelmed, like it was like way more overwhelming than that.
Yeah.
Advice that I have for you guys for next year is, first of all, wear very comfortable shoes because you're going to be on your feet the whole day. And I was in flats, and at the end of the day, my knees and my back and my feet hurt. So even in flats, so make sure you wear comfortable shoes. And number two, when you go around the booth, honestly, the information that you're getting is not so much about the program. It's more so seeing if you click with the residents and the residency program. After a while, like you kind of forget like what they say. So what really sticks with you is, like I said, like the relationships, I guess, and like their personalities. So that's why it's really important it is actually really important to go around and talk to every program that you're interested in, because unless you talk to them, you're not going to know if you guys get along.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things they're looking for too, because everyone always says like, we're going to be working with you for a year, so we have to make sure you get along with everyone that's there. And I would say for advice for next year to prepare ahead and kind of have questions ready that are specific to programs, because they really like that you research ahead of time. Honestly, I think I probably could have prepared a little more ahead of time, and I don't think they like it when you ask very general questions like, oh, what's your residency about? Yeah, like, you should already know what the residency is about by the time you go up to them.
They definitely don't like that.
And so they totally remember, and they totally judge you.
Yeah. And
so I didn't really realize how bad it was until some people we know who are residents told us. about like people who are being stupid and asking questions like that, and I was like, oh god, I totally asked that to some of them. It was so fun though. I really enjoyed seeing everyone that I haven't seen in a couple months or since school ended.
That was the best part, just
Yeah.
seeing familiar faces. And like honestly, going to CSHP felt like time stopped. For me, like it didn't feel like I was on rotations. It kind of took me back to when I was in pharmacy school, just
Yeah,
hanging out with everyone, and it was just a lot of fun. So when we left, it was a little like, oh god, we're
It's
leaving.
weird being back now.
Yeah, like literally like when we just came back, I was like, this place doesn't look familiar to me.
I don't know, yeah, it like felt really foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Residency Showcase, I really compare it to Rush. It's like you're crammed in there for 3 hours and you have to talk to everyone, and that's kind of what it feels like. I'm so proud of Bakersfield though, because we went to talk today on SB 493, and one of our preceptors, Dr. Gates, was on this panel, and he rocked it.
He was so awesome today. Going into the talk, I was actually in a pretty bad mood because something happened, but then afterwards I left very motivated and completely excited about our profession and where we're going, and I don't know, it just really motivated me to work harder as a student and study and become competent pharmacist. So thank you, Dr. Gates, for being awesome.
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite part of the whole conference though. Just like, it really ended on a good note, because after talking to all these residencies and being really tired, it was good to see all these like new ideas about how our profession's evolving and what's going to happen next year with the Affordable Care Act and everything. So yeah, if you don't know what it is, you should really look it up again.
Yeah, because it's going to directly affect you. So I mean, I guess even if you're not that interested in like law and policy and all that kind of stuff, it does really affect you. So at least know the basics and how it's going to affect the future, so you can prepare for it. So yeah.
Yeah, so exciting. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to know Dr. Gates.
I know. I was so proud of being in Bakersfield after and knowing him. Like, we saw him every single day.
He gave us a shout out like during his whole speech, or like when he was answering questions. Like, my students and my residents are in the audience right now, and I was like, oh, that's me.
And he gave us a hug after.
Yeah, so great.
Oh my gosh. He's my hero.
He's my hero.
Among many other people.
Dr. Patel. Oh gosh, the bugs are so...
the bugs.
The bugs are invading our space. There's one right there.
We had to move over a little bit.
Yeah,
because it's invading our space.
It's a huge spider.
Also, I got a bee sting last weekend. It was exactly a week ago. And I thought it was getting better. It was pretty good by the middle of last week. And then yesterday night at 4 a.m., it decided to start itching like crazy again. So now my thumb blew up and it looks really weird. So if you know what's wrong,
show the audience.
Look. One is a lot bigger than the other. And I don't know what happened, because it was totally normal yesterday and now it's really fat. So if you know what's wrong with my thumb, then you can comment below.
Comment in the box below to save Chrissy's thumb.
Because I know you're all very smart people. So for my last week of rotations, honestly I feel like in community I've kind of I haven't learned everything, but I've definitely been exposed to a lot already, and it kind of feels like working right now, so I really just want to focus on getting everything else done before I start infectious disease next week, and probably study for that too.
Yeah, me too. Same thing with Chrissy, because this rotation was comparatively a little more relaxed compared to the first one, so I just want to do all my preparation before critical care, which is the one I have next. And definitely show my preceptors, because the thing is, at my rotation right now, I rotate preceptors, so I'm going to have my first set of preceptors, so preceptors that I've had in the first week, so I kind of want to show them my growth from the first time they've seen me to the very last week.
We're almost at our third rotation. That was really
Yeah,
fast.
that's like halfway there. We registered for next semester.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is going by too fast, guys.
Too fast.
Time needs to stop.
Well, I just wanted to give a brief shout out to all the ropes that came down to CSHP. Okay, well, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.